Yeah, greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Friday, December 2nd, 2016. Yeah, it looks like my application just compromised me. I tried to get back after I was done with that Anti-Semitism Awareness Act segment. It just didn't want to continue. So I'm like, shoot, man. But I am going to publish that too. So I'd love to hear your folks' intake on that as well. But that's just how it goes. So I'm going to continue on. And here is about relating to the pipeline. Oh, yeah. It says here, it's from The Guardian by Oliver Millman. Came out today to be exact. It says here, Trump supports Dakota pipeline, but claims it's not due to his investment in it. Let's just continue on here. Donald Trump has said he supports the controversial pipeline that runs next to the Native American reservation in North Dakota, a project that the president-elect is personally invested in. A briefing from Trump's transition team said the real estate magnate supports the construction of the Dakota pipeline and that his backing has nothing to do with his personal investment and to do everything of promoting policies that benefit all Americans. Financial disclosure forms released earlier this year shows that Trump has a stake in Energy Transfer Partners, the Texas-based firm behind the pipeline, and Phillips 66, which will hold a share of the project once completed. Trump's investment in Energy Transfer Partners dropped from $500,000 and $1 million in 2015 to between $1,500 and $50,000 this year. His stake in Phillips 66, however, rose from between $50,000 and $100,000 last year, between the $250,000 and $500,000 this year, according to the forms. The first relationship that has both run both ways. Kelsey Warren, chief executive of Energy Transfer Partners, gave $103,000 to elect Trump and handed over a further $66,800 to the Republican National Committee after property developers secured the GOP's nomination. However, Trump's transition team dismissed any conflict of interest. Those making such a claim are only attempting to distract from the fact that the president-elect Trump has put forth serious policy proposals he plans to set in motion on day one, said a briefing note that was sent to campaign supporters. Marty Sweeters, a spokesperson for Greenpeace, said Trump's support showed that crony capitalism will run his administrations. The definition this is the definition of corruption, she said. The President of the United States should not be trading favors with oil and gas corporations. Millions of people will lose access to a clean water supply, including Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and the rest of America will face the impacts of catastrophic climate change from burning fossil fuels. In other words, pollution. Okay? Catastrophic pollution. That's how I look at it. A protest camp has grown in North Dakota since April amidst fears that the $3.8 billion Dakota Access Pipeline will threaten the water and crucial artifacts of the Standing Sioux Rock Tribe. The 1,170-mile pipeline will take oil from North Dakota's Bakken Fields to a refinery in Illinois and will cross the Missouri River, the main source of water for the tribe. A long-running protest has unified Native American tribes against the project, with repeated clashes between protesters and police. This week, North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple ordered the immediate evacuation of the protest camp amid accusations of police violence from the mass arrest and water cannons deployment that have echoes of the civil rights protests of the 1960s. Barack Obama has suggested the pipeline be rerouted to allay fears of tribes, but Energy Transfer Partners has vowed to push ahead and has accused the federal government for imposing costly delays upon the project. Trump has promised an American First energy policy that will attempt to boost domestic oil and gas production. The president-elect has already stated he wants to lift the Obama-Clinton roadblocks and allow vital energy infrastructure projects to move forward, including the Keystone Pipeline, another controversial fossil fuel project. North Dakota Senator John Hoeven, and a Republican, and that he met with Trump and successfully urged him to support the Dakota Pipeline. Mr. Trump expressed his support for the Dakota Pipeline, which has met or exceeded all environmental standards set forth by four states, and the Army Corps of Engineers, Hosen said. Also, it's important to know that the new administration will work to help us grow and diversify our energy economy and build energy infrastructure necessary to move from where it is to produce to where is needed. The result will be more jobs, a more vibrant economy, and affordable energy for the American people. Well, not here to nitpick or anything like that, but you have to expect ordeals like this. And yes, I am critical of the Dakota Pipeline. Hey, you want affordable energy? How about starting by industrializing hemp? I said it in the past, and even look up Henry Ford biomass engine run by hemp fuel. That's Puppet Mechanics, December 1942. Let's start using that. That'd be a great start in a period of time. Boom. We don't need we don't. We can eliminate the oil wells a lot more. I know there's a lot of things that need to be done, pavements, asphalt and all that, but do everything by steps, not a unanimous extreme 360. That's going to be done with transition. So I'm not gonna, you know, like I said, I'm gonna be critical. I'm gonna be critical of him as well, but I'm not gonna go witch hunting either because everyone's nitpicking this man. Yes, if this article has merit and all that, fine. I will be critical. I remember him with eminent domain in New Jersey. So it's a real shame when you look at it, and folks got to realize even all these pipelines, there's no guarantees. Things do happen in a period of time. It can occur. I won't call it climate change. I'll call it pollution. That's what it is, and it will hurt. It will affect everything, and that's one thing people got to start really looking at the bigger picture. So the folks out there got to keep on plugging away. And it was cool because that was an interview I've listened to by the Jim Bertuzzi. He was on the Richie Allen show, which is based out of the UK. Talks about the pipeline, and it was 26 minutes long. Very good. I may just add that to my footnotes as well. Let me just do that right now. At least get that going. Hold on here. Boop. And I will be right back. All right, cool. So I got that added, the Jim Bertuzzi interview. That was on Richie Allen show. Good stuff. Richie Allen has some, he has some great guests on there. So check it out. And all right, next one here I'm gonna be looking at will be from the Activist Post, and this one's entitled "Bill Targeting Russia Propaganda Passes in House," and this is by Kurt Nemo. And it says here, H.R. 6393, Intelligence Authorization Act for the fiscal year 2017, passed in the House of Representatives on November 30th. The legislation deals with a number of intelligence-related issues, including Russian propaganda or what the government calls propaganda. Section 501 calls the government to counter measures by Russia to exert covert influence carried out in coordination with or at the behest of political leaders or security services of the Russian Federation, and the role of the Russian Federation has been hidden or not acknowledged publicly. Definitions include media manipulation, covert broadcasting, disinformation, and forgeries, and funding agents of influence. It is easy to see how this law, if passed by the Senate and signed by the President, could be used against fake news websites. On November 24th, Washington Post published an article citing experts who claim Russian propaganda helped Donald Trump get elected. Two teams of independent researchers found that Russians exploited American-made technology platforms to attack U.S. democracy at a particularly vulnerable moment as an insurgent candidate harnessed a wide range of grievances to claim the White House. The sophistication of the Russian tactics may complicate efforts by Facebook and Google to crack down on fake news, as they have vowed to do with widespread complaints about the problem. The Post reported the newspaper cited Prop or Not, an anonymous website that posted a hit list of alternative media websites, including Drudge Report, Zero Hedge, Activist Post, Blacklisted News, and many others. Hey, I know those chaps too. And Doug Owen, we follow each other on Twitter. So, man, these guys are just like, they're desperate to take these folks out. Why? Proper Not attempts to make the case the websites are either used direct or covertly by Russians to spread propaganda. At this point, it is unknown if the bill will work its way through the Senate and becomes law, and it will be used to shut down or curtail websites anonymously characterized as useful idiots or willing participants in decimating supposed Russian propaganda. And you can get this on Another Day in the Empire, because Kurt Nemo's site. And I'm like, wow, wow, well, it's the blame game, man. These folks don't get it. They love scapegoating. It's like, imagine me. I go, hi, I have a scapegoating fetish. Do you find me attractive? I like to witch hunt people. I can blame everyone else for myself for my actions and stupidity. Did I attract you, honey? Another scam as usual. They shut down free speech and believe that you, the American people, are too damn stupid to think for yourselves. All right. As far as I'm concerned, let the Senate know. And these yahoos support this bill. Tell them how you're a bunch of asswipes and Uncle Toms and Angel Mamas to the state. Plain and simple. They don't work for us. They work for those stupid, pathetic control fiend corporations. All right, this is totally unacceptable. Send them a damn message, and let the Senate know you don't support this. End of story. All right. All right. Next one here came from governmentexecutive.com, and it originally came from Defense One, if I'm correct. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. Yeah, this is from Defense One. And who wrote this? I'll find out in a moment here. Sometimes I just like Patrick Tucker. That's his name. And they came out this today from Defense One, and this one's entitled "The Pentagon wants eye reading software, X-ray tools, and virtual Facebook to fight terrorism." Hooray! Fight war on terror. Let's become a tyrannical state once again. All right, let's continue on here. The hunting terrorist is dramatic business worthy of a Marvel comic. Quiet, overt intelligence gathering foreshadows sudden violence. Door kicks, smoke grenades, gunfire, and then there are the gadgets. In November, the Defense Department's Combating Terrorism Technical Support Office put out a draft of its annual broad agency announcement, a sort of wish list of futuristic superhero tools. Here are some of this year's items of note. A mini drone deployable from a V-22. Future Marines will ride the Boeing V-22 Osprey to their beachhead landings, but what they will find when they get there. The Pentagon is looking for a drone that can deploy from the Osprey and dash ahead of the V-22, providing at least 8.5 minutes of overhead intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance at the landing or drop zone to arrival. The system drone should be largely autonomous. The waypoint with waypoint guided navigation and of course work in all sorts of weather. Sensors of Iron Man exoskeletons. The U.S. Special Operations Command has been working on a sort of Tony Stark SQ Iron Man outfit called the Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit since 2013, aiming to deliver a prototype in 2018. Before that can happen, researchers need to be able to derive timely, accurate, and reliable prediction of intended human motion, which is essential for highly dynamic human augmentation system like Talos. The Pentagon is looking for a sensor suit that must be easily donned and doffed without using electric road gels or adhesives. So technically, it's like the Rocketeer on steroids. If you remember that movie, check it out. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Mini transmitter for spy cameras. The 1996 film Mission Impossible reaches climax when protagonist Ethan Hunt dons a pair of glasses outfitted with a mini camera to show the film's villain has faked his death. An astute observer might have wondered, not how does one make a camera that small? Really, it's just a bed of capacitors. But how does one transfer imagery data in a communication constrained environment? The Pentagon is looking for a miniature transmitter that will allow for covert video surveillance operations to transmit live Palestinian surveillance, intelligence, and security operations efficiently in body worn and difficult concealment applications. Operators should be able to configure the transmitter remotely and wear it in a way them to operate normally without injury to subject. And it should provide high performance video and audio during Palestinian investigative operations. Oh, look at this, man, right? Face heat, eye movement based lie detector. Your eyes and face say allow about what you're thinking, especially when your mouth isn't moving. Your eyes blink may signal your intent to deceive. So may activity in the sympathetic and adrenergic nervous system, particularly under the eyes, that is, that is a symptom of stress, which can be an indicator of deception, depending on the context in which that stress is occurring, such as an interrogation about your crime you have committed or contemplated. Biometric signal extraction is a foremost modern deception detection. But teaching software to make sense of complex biophysical information gleaned from thermal imaging and eye movement observation isn't easy. The Pentagon is seeking an algorithmic solution, read software that can quickly analyze a variety of signals and information provided by the sensors and hardware of these systems acquired. Sorry about that. From humans during interviews. The input signals will include thermal face heat, dilation of the pupil, breathing and heart rate, and electrodermal activity, which is the changing electrical properties of the skin, also an indicator of stress. So if you're speaking the truth, then you're a little worried about trying to get that job. They probably think you're a liar. Okay, oh, how cute is that, right? X-ray sensors finding secret compartments. With horror lucrative behind the walls, the office wants a 15-pound or lighter box to find secret tunnels, drugs, and weapon caches, and man-made voids concealed in the floors and walls of buildings and underground municipal infrastructure. Back in 2014, researchers for ASNE demo, demoed demoed a handheld backscatter X-ray device that could continuously blast and collect photons to provide limit detection of hidden objects of high atomic density. Backscatter sensors are somewhat limited by the thickness of the surfaces the photons have to penetrate. Getting form factors down is a daunting but hardly insurmountable challenge. Facebook for psychological operations. A lot of these big brother gadgets, huh? The Defense Department, State Department, and a variety of partners around the world are constantly working to counter extremist messaging and recruiting on networks like Twitter and Facebook. But these operations carry risk. As author and scholar J.M. Berger has observed, the State Department can't just pick a fight with a random jihadist or ISIS supporter on Twitter, which we all know is New World Order funded. You have a lot of people watching to see if you're going to lose the argument. Such exchanges are all upside for the radical. for the downside for the establishment. Like every military action, psychological operation on social media require training. The Pentagon is looking for a virtual social media site trainer called the Dynamic Social Media for Training and Exercises, which can emulate the look, feel, and the key features of Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Tumblr to support operator collection, analysis, and exploitation of social media during training exercise while avoiding the challenges associated with training on the open internet. Of all the challenges counterterrorism operators face, the open internet seems relatively banging. Yes, it is. So this is what they want to find a way to say, we're doing this for your protection. It's done for your own good, and you can't trust them. You have to trust us. So that's what I expect. That's how they're going to sell to the people. And you know what? Many of them right now will give them the middle finger. Yeah, two of them at the same time. Well, a lot of us will expect this to happen anytime soon. Okay, it's been addressed for a good 15, 20 years at the least. You got to keep plugging away, exercising free speech, keep the internet open as possible. Because all this is more of a witch hunt of critical thinkers. They're going to say, that guy's a terrorist because he loves freedom. One of the reasons why you never trust them. You watch, observe, keep those yahoos on their toes. If we get it, these gadgets, we're considered criminals, bad guys, tyrants. If they do it, oh, you can trust us? Please, I'll just flush down the toilet on that. So you know what? They shouldn't. We shouldn't. They should. If they gotta get it out of your own pocket, not the taxpayers. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, next one here from New Eastern Outlook, and it's by Nina Labadeva. It says here, it's entitled American Military Base on Diego Garcia. That's along the Indian Ocean. What's next? One moment here. All right, so as it reads here, the 50-year term of the agreement between Great Britain and the United States regarding the Pentagon's lease of Diego Garcia Atoll, which is located in the heart of the Indian Ocean for military purposes, expires in December 2016. However, chances are it could be prolonged for 20 years till December 2036. For more than a dozen years, this horseshoe atoll has been shrouded in secrets and myths that has that have caused a great general curiosity of quite a different nature. Rich German and Italian tourists that rested at on the Maldives Islands got a belly full of the local beautiful landscapes, renting a fishing boat to visit a secret base on Diego Garcia, having managed to approach a atoll up close. They were detained and deported. The curiosity was aroused by information on a secret prison located on the premises that is similar to Guantanamo, which retained either the Sri Lankan fishermen or other perpetrators of the island's borders. Media information on the presence of a secret deep water base, in fact, an entire underwater city, also fueled speculations, which meant that all movements in the Indian Ocean zone, as well as the high-tech monitoring stations connected to the global search system, which sites in Hawaii, Kwajalein, and Colorado Springs were listened on. This base obscure history raises many questions. The first one is, why does this land fragment attract so much attention, and what is the fate of the military base of which the Pentagon has considered the most strategically important among many of the same points outside the U.S. borders for more than a half a century, which is also called the base of shame around the world. Initially, it was known that the U.S. has not made an official Ahmed has not made official payments for the island's lease. Later on, the information appeared that it had been leased in exchange for a $14 million discount obtained from the U.S. for London to acquire the Polaris submarine-based ballistic missiles. Looking at the map, one can see the most convenient methods of projecting power into the direction of the Middle East, the Persian Gulf, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the South China Sea. Their use allowed the Pentagon to react instantly to events in the hot spots and to conduct military campaigns during the Gulf War of 1990-1991 and the anti-terrorist war in Afghanistan and Iraq. For this purpose, 16 separate units were located on Diego Garcia, including a naval support base and a strategic bomber airfield base. The point locations for guided missile submarines and a nuclear weapons storage. The base was important for both maintaining tight control of the oil streams from the Gulf into South Asia, Southeast Asia, and North Asia, and for curbing China's military rise and the presence of the Chinese submarines in the Indian Ocean. The second one is, will the myth that the island is uninhabited that was imposed to the world by Washington and London be finally dispelled? In order to understand this myth, let us consider the most gloomy pages of cruel narrative on the expulsion of the Loyalists in 1966. The Loyalists were the native citizens of each whom obtained a tiny compensation worth £3,000 per person from the British government to get established in a new place that was hardly suitable for habitation. This deal was truly wrapped up by Harold Wilson, the Labour government, and Lyndon Johnson, the Democratic government. During the signing of the agreement on the lease of Diego Garcia, which in fact did not exist and was just an exchange of notes. The list of details of the Lois struggle for their right to return home is rather long, and it includes suits in the British Parliament and the Supreme Court, calls to the European Parliament, appeals to the African Union, and the 1982 UN Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, etc. These were heard by the three Nobel Prize winners, thus the members of the British Parliament. However, the British government used the royal prerogative to block the problem resolution, noting it's the high cost of its implementation, according to the results of a study conducted by the auditing company KPMG on commission from the British Foreign Office. Returning the displaced persons on the island would cost the British Treasury £66 million in 2010, impeding the immigration. London organized and run by announcing the creation of the Maritime Protected Zone around the Chagos archipelago, where fishing was banned and other human activities limited. During the negotiations on the fate of Diego Garcia in 2014 and 2016, Barack Obama and Dave Cameron had to discuss the problems of the Losis migration at such a high diplomatic level. The third one is why, despite all negativity around the base and criticism from the international community, its relevance among new actors in international relations in the Indian Ocean is growing like a snowball. That's a question. Great Britain plans that were announced in 2014 to place military platforms and aircraft carrier, nuclear submarines, support ships, aircraft of the Royal Navy and Air Force at the newly opened base Mina Salman and Bahrain demonstrates the return of the London of the East of Suez, in the course of which Diego Garcia might become particularly important for England. The expansion in the past 2 years of various interests and the desire of the Federal Republic of Germany to participate in the political and strategic trends in the Indian Ocean create an idea to search strategically convenient sites in the region for the German bases. Given the U.S. approval, Djibouti and Diego Garcia might be interesting for Germany as the German destroyer or torpedo boat destroyer with the Navy support ships might be operational. After long-lasting speculations and doubts, the agreement on the military logistics between the U.S. and India signed sorry about that, in August 2016, will allow the parties to use each other's military bases for technical support, servicing, refueling, and other actions. Does this mean that the agreement will be effective for both parties and that India will require access to Diego Garcia and Djibouti? During the 2016 pre-election campaign, the U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump declared that Japan and South Korea should pay more for the U.S. progressive military presence in Asia. He was surprised by a huge number of U.S. overseas bases. Does this mean that after entering the White House, Donald Trump will commit to make considerable changes in this context? Apparently, all this may sink into oblivion due to their lack of basis. However, although there is no confirmation of the extension of the Diego Garcia lease, there is no doubt that it will happen in the nearest future, as it is in the interest of both countries. So you have to really see all that across the board and expect it more to be imperialistic as usual. You know how that goes. They call it the Anglo-American Order. That's what's that guy's name? Oh man, right top of my head too. I think it's Brantley. I think his name William Brantley. Maybe it. That may be it. But something to really observe, right, and really contemplate on. Good grief! How long can this end? I'm pretty convinced that that Malaysian airline that got shot down, allegedly got shot down, they didn't find really anything. They probably were taken in to Diego Garcia. There's some rumors about that. You can look it up on YouTube, but always observe responsibly to be exact. To just be fair. But how long can this end? I say, the hell with it. Bring our brothers and sisters home. End this imperialism because it's nothing more than a deception. And I will continue on here. Intel News came out today. It says outgoing CIA director says scrapping Iran nuclear deal would be disastrous. This is by Joseph Fisankis. Fisankis. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. The outgoing director of the United States Central Intelligence Agency has warned in an interview that it will be disastrous for Washington to abandon a nuclear treaty with Iran, which was agreed in 2015. John Brennan is a career intelligence officer and fluent Arabic speaker who has served in the CIA for 25 years. He was appointed director of the agency in March 2013 by President Barack Obama and is scheduled to leave the position of January 2017 after nearly 4 years at the helm of the CIA. It's funny because Iran's major official language is Persian, maybe Kurdish and some Kurdish and a little bit Arabic. Yeah, they're like near the border, but it's Persian. What's that got to do with thing with Iran about what's that got to do with him being a fluent Arabic speaker and has to do with Iran? I'll just continue on. Earlier this year, in the first interview given by a serving CIA director to a British media agency, Brennan told BBC that he hoped the incoming administration in Washington would show prudence and discipline in security matters. He was referring to the administration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, which is currently taking shape in preparation for January. The business tycoon said his election campaign that he would scrap the so-called Joint Comprehensive Action Plan, an international agreement reached in 2015 between Iran and a group of nations known as the P5 plus 1, namely the five permanent members of the United Nations Security Council plus Germany. As part of the deal, Iran has agreed to halt its nuclear weapons program in exchange for an end to economic sanctions. The man chosen by Trump to replace Brennan at the helm of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, is a member of the so-called Tea Party movement within the Republican Party and a fierce critic of the Iran deal. But Brennan told BBC that it would be the height of a folly if the next administration were to tear up that agreement. The outgoing CIA director said it would be unprecedented for an American administration to scrap an international agreement struck by its predecessor. Additionally, said Brennan, if Washington abandons the treaty, it will strengthen hardliners in the Islamic Republic and will cause neighboring states to pursue their own nuclear programs in response to Tehran's. During this interview, Brennan also cautioned the Trump administration to be wary of Russian promises and not to trust the advances of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Well, first of all, y'all gotta be vigilant. That's one thing for sure. And for Mike Pompeo and Donald Trump, in good faith, if you haven't read the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that was done in 2015, read it. I know a couple of folks like Scott Horton did an interview on it, and the people say, yeah, there's some good things on it about it, and the sanctions got lifted. Look, the people don't want to fight. People in Iran don't want to fight either. They got their own little battles they want to deal with within their own country, and that's a fact, and I say that respectfully. So we have to actually look at these first. I know a lot of diehard Republicans. Oh yeah, how dare you that nuclear arms deal with Iran? And I would claim an armchair expert. If these folks remember what happened to Operation Ajax that occurred in 1953 with Iran, then you look at a different story. They weren't mad because of our freedoms. Come on, when other countries trying to tell them what to do, wouldn't like it. It's like Israel's trying to tell APAC and all these folks are to tell us how to think and how to do. I tell them, I just give them the damn booster. Get the hell out of here. That's my attitude. So you gotta read it first, then make your own decisions. Don't listen to bobbleheads and these stupid idiots from both sides of the lamestream news, whether it's CNN, Fox, or MSNBC, because they're a bunch of yahoos. They just want to get you guys angry and make you have them think for you. Please. So read the damn agreement, then come back and talk. All right. End the story. Ooh. Finally, I got this from Lou Rockwell. Actually put this out today. It came out around the 29th. This is by listverse.com. And it says 10 surprising facts about prohibition in the U.S. This is by Laura Marisiut. Go all the way down, all these links. And it came out on the 29th. This is the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution went into effect in 1920. It was not repealed until December 1933. The purpose of prohibition was to cure American society of all the ills that had supposedly befallen it. However, for most people, prohibition was a merry period marked with increases in drinking, gambling, and corruption. Above all, prohibition encouraged high levels of creativity in attempts to get around the law at all levels of society. Let's hit number 10. The dry boss who pushed for prohibition through. Wayne Wheeler was born in 1869 on a farm in eastern Ohio. One day, a drunken farm worker accidentally speared young Wheeler's leg with a pitchfork. An incident that likely pushed him toward almost evangelical antipathy for drinking. In 1894, Wheeler was offered a full-time position at an anti-saloon league, where he quickly became admired for his pressure politics, aka Wheelerism. Unlike other temperance groups, the Anti-Saloon League didn't stray from its main objective, the abolition of alcohol from American life. The League worked extensively through churches and supported or opposed government candidates depending on their position regarding prohibition. Due to his influence and power, Wheeler became known as a dry boss. Wheeler insisted on strict enforcement of prohibition. He also opposed the use of soap and other harmless substances in denatured alcohol, instead of opting for poisonous chemicals by arguing the person who drinks this industrial alcohol is a deliberate suicide. 9. Prohibition agents were paid less than garbage collectors. The average income was $3,143 in 1922 and rose to $3,227 in 1923. In comparison, the salary of prohibition agents ranged from $1,200 to $2,500 for 98% of the Prohibition Bureau. In 1930, the entry-level salary of a prohibition agent was $2,300, two-thirds of the national average. The Coast Guard earned even less. Men enlisted in the Coast Guard only earned $36 per month, although that included accommodations and free uniforms. As one can imagine, underpaid agents often took bribes from bootleggers and sometimes even moonlighted as chauffeurs for their supposed targets. As a result, more than one-tenth of the agents were dismissed from the Prohibition Bureau. 8. Cow shoes were worn by bootleggers to cover up their footsteps. To evade prohibition agents, many bootleggers devised inventive ways to smuggle alcohol. One of the most unusual inventions was cow shoes, which were used to cover footprints in the woods where moonshine brewery sites were often hidden. The cow shoe was a strip of metal lacked with a wooden block that was carved to resemble the hoof of a cow. When strapped onto a human foot, the device left a trail resembling of that of a cow. Supposedly, supposedly, this confused and deterred agents tracking criminal operations. It was believed that the idea for cow shoes came from a Sherlock Holmes story in which the villain's horse was shod with shoes that had imprints of a cow's hoof. Number 7. Wine for sacramental purposes was on the rise. The Volstead Act, which was passed in the year before Prohibition began, granting federal agents permission to investigate and prosecute anyone who violated Prohibition liquor law. But wines used for sacramental purposes were exempt, which meant that a limited amount of wine could be made at home and in wineries. To acquire sacramental wine, some people went as far as to pose as priests and rabbis. In 1925, a study found that demand for sacramental wine in the U.S. increased by 3 million liters, or 800,000 gallons, in a 2-year period. 6. Wine bricks saved many vintners from bankruptcy. No longer able to make wine on the premises, many vintners started producing wine bricks, which were bricks of concentrated grape juice. The target market was home brewers who could dissolve and use these wine bricks in the privacy of their own homes. Since grapefruit juice was not illegal under prohibition laws, wine bricks were truly an ingenious idea for vintners who had who did not have the heart to tear down their vineyards. The law could do nothing because bricks came with warnings that they were for non-alcoholic consumption only. Packaging for wine bricks contained a note explaining how to dissolve the concentrate in 4 liters, 1 gallon of water. Then the instructions helpfully warn the consumer not to leave the jug in a cool cupboard for 21 days or it will turn into wine. Wine brick markers also included flavors such as burgundy or claret that person might encounter if they accidentally left the juice to ferment. 5. Medical beer campaign was almost a success. In 1921, a group of brewers, physicians, and avid alcohol consumers tried to convince the U.S. Congress that beer, a substance that Temperance League had associated with laziness, abandoned wives, and unemployment, was actually vital medicine. The so-called beer emergency was understood by both supporters and opponents to be a referendum on prohibition itself. Advocates of beer pointed out its relaxing qualities and nutritional value. One writer even suggested that beer was so full of vitamins that it actually saved the British race from extinction during the plague years. Much to the annoyance of Temperance League advocates, Attorney General A. Mitchell Palmer declared that the beverage clause in the 18th Amendment allowed doctors to prescribe beer at any time, under any circumstance, and in quantity necessary. However, a few months after Palmer's decision, Congress took up the beer emergency and banned beer completely. By the end of 1921, the bill had become law, much to the dismay of avid beer proponents. 4. Prohibition administrators often drank booze themselves. Some prohibition administrations did not adhere to the law to themselves. For example, Colonel Ned Green, the administrator of San Francisco, was suspended from his duties in 1926 after Alf Offedel, the assistant commissioner of prohibition in charge of enforcement, came upon Green serving seized liquor at private parties. Later, Green amiably told reporters that he should have been suspended long ago following his green imbroglio. Every administrator was asked to sign a pledge of abstinence. Prohibition officials also helped bootleggers to withdraw whiskey from bonded warehouses. In fact, two Prohibition administrators were accused of issuing withdrawal permits for $1 million of booze in just one day. 3. Brewery found innovative ways to keep a business afloat. During World War One, the country was already moving toward a full alcohol ban. Breweries could only produce beer that did not exceed an alcohol content of 2.75%, better known as near beer. When prohibition was put into effect, the number dropped to 0.5%. Not all brewers were content to stick to the production of a near beer. Some, like F.M. Schaefer Brewing Company and Nayans Liquors, decided to start making dyes. This turned out to be a successful enterprise thanks to the storage of dye in the country at the time. In fact, that brewers' existing equipment could be converted into making dyes. Interestingly, some dye chemicals plants also noticed the similarities between alcohol and dye production and started producing illegal booze. Other brewers such as Schlitz, Miller, and Pabst turned into malt extract, which is advertising as a cooking product. In reality, people brought it for the purpose of making their own beer or home brew. Still others such as Anheuser-Busch and Yuengling turned their attention to ice cream. 2. Children's menus originate during Prohibition. Before Prohibition, children rarely ate out. In fact, a child had to be relatively well off and a guest hotel to dine in public. Restaurants not attached to hotels rarely served children because they got in the way of booze-induced adult fun. When Prohibition went into effect, the owners of restaurants and other hospitality establishments suddenly changed their minds, realizing that children could help to offset the liquor loss revenue. In 1921, Waldorf Astoria in New York became the first establishment to produce a children's menu. Other restaurants soon followed, but these new menus meant the establishment of a new limitation. At restaurants, children could no longer eat what their parents ate. I think that's pretty cool. I didn't even know. That's the first time I learned about this too. So, see, something you can always never learn something. It's something new every day, right? Yeah. All right. Number one, cruises. Nowhere, no cruise to nowhere were popular. During Prohibition, you could legally drink alcohol outside a 5 kilometer or 3 mile territorial limit of the United States. As a result, booze cruises or cruises to nowhere became popular. As the name suggests, cruises to nowhere were short cruises with no particular destination during which guests can indulge in alcohol to their heart's content. Famous liners like the Brangaria and Aquatina of Cunard, the Majestic of White Star, and the Leviathan of the United States lines all offered these trips. Some were simply weekend cruises into the Atlantic, while others also made stops in Nova Scotia or Bermuda. Short sailing trips to the Bahamas and Havana also became popular. Their clubs and other drinking establishments sprang up to cater to thirsty Americans. Laura is a student from Ireland in love with books, writing, coffee, and cats. Well, my friends, you gotta learn. I learned something from this too, and that's pretty cool. It's always one or an action's gotta be a reaction. That's why if you're gonna ban firearms, people are gonna find a way of getting it. It's gonna be under black markets. People are gonna be doing territories, and of course, you gotta have states gonna nullify it. That's what happened with prohibition alcohol. Maryland became the first state of say hell no, and other counties, municipalities, and states followed as well. Those are other reasons why prohibition did not succeed. These are fine examples of what has happened. And this could be a good history lesson because the past is today's greatest teacher. Prohibition of any means is always beneficial for the people of so-called criminal minds. The war on drugs. If you end it, it will collapse. I said, you give you guys a little lesson, okay? All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this show. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to send me something interesting that I'd like to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondences with decorum. Get me on Facebook, Twitter, Google Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedom's Network, or Scene.life. Plus, if you want to email me, you can by and I had a moment there. Sorry. You can email me at LokiLuck3, which is LokiLuck and a number 3 altogether at gmail.com. Okay, well, I'm going to play a song by a gentleman named Garth Ike, or Gareth Ike, wherever you want to call him. And he was the son of David Ike. They call him the father of the supposedly conspiracy nut and all that. But I do appreciate a lot of his information he put out there, his work, and so forth. This is a song, Get Your Love On. It came out a couple years ago. And it's, entertaining. Good little beat. I like it. So hopefully you do too, all right? And that's all. Once again, thank you for your time. But always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.
Something that you said, spinning around my head. You said the goodness isn't dead. If we believe and act, do you abide by the law, or do you write your laws? Do you abide by the law, or do you write yours? Get up, get up, get up, get up, just catch your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just catch your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just catch your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just catch your love on. If you can clear your doubts, you can cure yourself. For your power is a mount, reaching high into the clouds. Do you abide by the law, or do you write your laws? Do you abide by the law, or do you write yours? Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Get up, get up, get up, get up, just get your love on. Take some mad, mad man to build up walls and charter a plan. Take some mad, 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 mad man to build up walls and charter a plan. Do you abide by laws? Do you write your laws? Do you abide by laws? Do you write your